Hey, what's going on, guys? Butterbar here. Welcome back to the channel. So I have a very interesting topic to talk about today. Real quick, though, before I get into the topic, and the topic is going to be about toxicity and fandom. Where does a passionate fan that wants to give feedback and want to see, either a video game, a movie, or a book series driven in a good direction and in a positive direction towards the fan base, and when does that actually break off to being somebody that's toxic, somebody that's very harmful to the brand, very harmful to the series, and that is a detriment to the regular fan base that wants to see something strive. We will kind of get into that. This topic is actually coming from a Henry Cavill interview that Henry Cavill, if you guys don't know who that is, he is the modern day Superman of our generation. He was in Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League. He's currently right now in the Witcher series on Netflix, and he does a really good interview talking about fandom and toxicity. When does fandom correspond with toxicity, and when does it become something that is very harmful to the fan base? So I want to get into that real quick. I just want to let you guys know kind of where I'm at right now. Currently, right now, I am in a crossroads right now if I want to continue playing Modern Warfare or want to continue doing content for Modern Warfare. I have not decided yet what I plan on doing with this video game and with this series. I'm a little hesitant right now. The enjoyment factor of Modern Warfare is just not happening with me right now, so I'm in a crossroads of deciding what I want to do next. So that might be another video later on down the line, maybe tomorrow's video, maybe another video later on, but currently right now, just to give you guys a heads up on where my head is at with Modern Warfare and where I see this video game going, it's not in a great place, and honestly, kind of going off of my feedback that I want to give the developers and my current attitude right now is just something that is just, it's not positive. It's something that's just kind of eating at my soul right now, of just not enjoying the experience I'm having right now. And it's kind of going in the back of my mind of, do I want to continue on with this? Do I want to continue on with making videos? Do I want to continue on with making videos about Modern Warfare, or continue playing this game? Because currently right now my attitude is very negative, and I'm not knowing what I want to do. But I just want to let you guys know kind of where my mind's at right now with Modern Warfare. I'll let you guys kind of know where my mindset is and my attitude-wise, but maybe we can talk about that in a later video. But I just figured I'm going to give you guys my attitude right now. So, all right, let's talk about this, because I thought that was a very interesting topic about toxicity and listening to fans and where that breakdown is. Because currently right now, I would say in the Modern Warfare series, at least in the Modern Warfare game right now, man, I will say this. I think there's a lot of people giving feedback. I think good and some bad. I think you can definitely tell who the toxic players or the toxic fans are right now when they're like wishing, they're throwing out death threats, they're throwing out this and that, and it's definitely hurting the player base right now. It's hurting the fandom of Modern Warfare, where a lot of people, I would say a majority of players, that are wanting this game to do well and to get better over time. I think that's a good example of people that are fans of this series, that they've enjoyed the series, they want to see it blossom, they want to see it grow, but currently right now, for whatever reason, whatever that is, the developers just are not wanting to deal with the fans. They are not wanting to deal with the community, and I don't know the reason why that is, and I think a little bit has to do with the toxicity that some people are pushing off, and I understand the frustration, but the amount of aggression that some people are showing to the developers is definitely one thing that is definitely hurting the community when it comes to giving feedback and wanting to see this game grow into something good. So I want to take this comparison from this interview and compare it to what we're kind of dealing with right now as fans of Modern Warfare. And again, I really do enjoy kind of reading through this interview of Henry Cavill that he gave while he's playing The Witcher. Now, again, I will say this, I've never played any of the Witcher games, never read any of the Witcher books. I know Witcher 3 is a really great game from what I hear, and I definitely need to take some time and to jump into that game sooner rather than later, from the responses that people have been giving me of how good of a game that is. But I know that the Witcher series on Netflix is something that has jumped from the books and the video games over to Netflix, and from what I understand, it's kind of a moderate type of series. Some people like it, some people don't. And the reason why a question is asked to Henry Cavill is there is that different response that fans are giving to this series, that they might not be enjoying it just because it might not be based off of the video games and the books. And I'm going to jump later into the question, late into this question that is asked to Henry Cavill, that's talking about toxic fans and what is the response to that. So the question is, I'm curious if that's comparable to the sort of world, this culture of toxic fandom, where, like, if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, you have great intentions, but there are always going to be this small yet vocal group of people that can be just toxic. That's the question that this interviewer is asking Henry Cavill, and Henry Cavill's response is, I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is fans' rights to have whatever opinion they want to have. It continues on, people are going to be upset, especially when you are talking about books or games, because you are never going to be exact person they had in their head, or they have played in The Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I consider that passionate, and if something that which I obviously had to come to terms with over the years. So again, that I feel like that is something that is just mature. He has a mature response to, okay, you know what, coming to the fans of the Witcher series, whether that be in the books or the video games, and now are watching this TV series on Netflix, and Cavill's understanding, look, you know, I'm playing this character, I'm playing in this universe of the Witcher, and because it might not be satisfying the fans of the books and the video games, he is totally understanding that people might have a different opinion, might have a different viewpoint on where they see their hero, where they see their characters from the video game into the books and into this now movie series. Everyone's going to have a different viewpoint on where they see the characters. You know, pertaining to the books, somebody might have a different view of the characters in the books compared to the video games or to this TV series. And the fact that Henry Cavill says, look, I understand that from the viewpoint of the fans, you know, there might be something that they disagree with in that, and that's a totally understandable thing, because there are fans of that series that are very passionate about what they're watching or what they're playing or what they're reading, that he doesn't give a response of, you know what, they're just toxic, you know, forget them, who cares about it, I'm playing you know, a character, they should just enjoy it, they should just, you know, embrace it no matter what. He actually has a very decent and mature response to that, and it's a very respectable one to players that have played the video game or people that have read The Witcher, that, okay, you know what, I get it. He has a different way of you know, portraying this character that people have seen in read in books and seen in video games, and he's being very respectful of the opinion of others, and not saying that initially, just because you have a different opinion than what he's playing, you're a toxic person. So I like it that Henry Cavill is saying that in this interview. I'm very respectful from what he said. Now, taking that interview to currently right now where we're sitting at in the Modern Warfare series, or the Modern Warfare game. Currently right now, with the amount of feedback that the developers are getting, and honestly, like the video I did yesterday, we're not getting a whole lot of feedback. We're not getting a whole lot of pushback of the thing saying, hey, you know what, we want to see this, we want to see this, you know, it would be great to see this improve over time, you know, we want to see this thing, you know, grow and get better. We're not really seeing that communication, and I think that's a breakdown of where the developers see the community as something that's toxic. Now, I say this again, you know, I think there is a difference between the passionate fans that want to see this game get better over time and want to see it grow, compared to the fans out there, the toxic fans, that are like throwing out death threats, threatening people's families, and doing stuff like that, where it's not helping the situation out whatsoever. It's not helping the argument that people are wanting to have in order to help make this game blossom. So I think there's definitely two different ways of thinking about how to improve Call of Duty, to where you're wanting to see it get better over time, so you're giving your feedback respectfully. You're saying that, hey, look, I would say a majority of the player base want to see this implemented. I don't think that it it's actually helping at all, you know, in this situation and stuff like that. And I think there's no problem whatsoever. I think just the way that Henry Cavill answered this question respectfully, I think the developers respectfully need to take the consideration of the fans and what they're asking and what their feedback. They need to respect and actually answer back to the feedback that they're getting. The fact of there's a lot of people, I would say, that have given their feedback to Infinity Ward that really have not gotten an answer back. I would say the majority of the answers or the questions that get asked to Infinity Ward or responses that get answered back from developers at Infinity Ward, or, you know, if somebody says, oh man, this is the best game in the world, this is the best, you know, whatever in the world, this is amazing, and then Infinity Ward will give a feedback or, you know, give a response to that. But anything that's negative, anything that is a detriment to the game, or, you know, something that, you know, players want to see changed in the game, there's no response. There's no talking back and forth after that. And that's the thing that I feel like is just such a terrible thing for this game, for the simple fact that there is no feedback whatsoever. There's no talking amongst you know, the developers and the community where, you know what, just because it might be something that the developers might disagree with or, you know, have a different opinion about, they can't answer that. They can't talk about that to the community for some reason. And the fact of that, we can get a respectful and mature response from Henry Cavill about, hey, people are going to have different opinions about that. We should respect it and come to an understanding about the different opinions that people have. The fact that we're not really getting that right now in the Call of Duty community to the developers is just one thing that just makes me kind of ashamed. It makes me think, just like, where do we go from here? If feedback is not going to be talked about, if there's not going to be any communication whatsoever about you know, different issues that the fans have in this game, because maybe the developers think the majority of the community is just toxic buttholes, I don't know where to go from there. I really don't. I would say that majority of the fan base is really respectful with what they with the way that they feel about this game and the fandom that they have about this game, and wanting to see it get better over time and wanting to find some enjoyment in it. But for some reason, that's just not happening, and I don't understand the reason why behind that. And I know this kind of cuts into the communication that is kind of lacking right now, but I think the attitude right now with the developers, I think they have towards the community, is just, it's not really helping. And I feel like if we can actually just get that better to where they don't necessarily think that every single person is toxic or every single person has ill intent towards you know, their video game or their vision with the video game, I think we can go a little bit farther in, you know, the aspect of taking feedback, listening to the community, having a dialogue. But currently right now, that's just not the case. And it's just kind of a shame that we're at this point right now where there's just a complete breakdown in communication, a complete breakdown of just, you know, wholesomeness, a breakdown of being able to work together between developers and the fan base. And it's just, I don't know. I really don't know where we go from here. I don't know how this improves whatsoever until attitudes change, attitudes shift to where, you know, not everybody is seen as toxic. Not everybody is seen as the villain, to where everybody can give their feedback and we're actually talking amongst each other to where all of us have the good intention of making this game good. But for some reason, it's just not happening when the community is trying to give feedback to this game. And it's just falling on deaf ears. So, guys, I just wanted to throw that opinion out there. Again, I thought this interview was very interesting. I'm a huge fan of Henry Cavill, and the fact that he's trying to give some respect to the fan base of The Witcher 3, well, I guess of the Witcher series, it's just something you don't really see too often nowadays. So, it's just a really nice thing to see that he is respectful of their opinions, and yeah, man, I think it's just something that this community and the developers and everything, this whole arena needs, is just sorely lacking. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think about this interview? What do you think about the community and the developers and the relationship we have? Do you think it's toxic? Do you think it's not? Let me know in the comments below. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys all next time.